Back in 2007, I wrote an article for a major dental magazine called Retire by 50, Is It Possible? Well, yes, it definitely is. I listed the traits of those people, those dentists that were able to retire by age 50. Some of them continued to work, but they all were able to retire if they wanted to. Well, since that time, I've met many more. And guess what? The traits are the same. Let's go over it. Personal. First of all, they all lived in one home until they were able to retire. A lot of them did retire. In fact, most of them did. Where do they live now? On large homes on golf courses. Yeah, very few are living modestly in retirement like they did beforehand. Most of them live in larger homes. Key thing is that they were all able to save at least 25% of their net income per year. 25%, that's a lot. That's what it takes. They paid cash for cars. Some bought new, some bought used. Interestingly, there was a large group that bought luxury cars but waited 2 to 3 years to buy them. They bought used, 2 to 3 years old, and paid 40 to 50% less. Another key thing, the spouse was on board financially with the doctor. In fact, the spouse was often more frugal than the doctor. Investing, all sorts of different ways. Some did it on their own, some used a traditional broker, some worked with a certified financial planner. It was all different. And there was no particular way that they invested, but they did save 25% per year. Okay, let's talk about their practices. What were the traits of their practices? Most had 2 to 4 employees only. In other words, they were in small practices. Very few had high tech. Their initial practice loans, they normally would take out 10-year loans. Their initial practice loans are almost always paid off early, normally within about 5 years. And they did not take out another practice loan. No sequel loans. Any improvements, equipment, anything like that was paid from a practice fund in cash. Most practiced in one location. 90% practiced in one location until they were able to retire. I'd like to give you a quote from the article from the Dr. Howe that was interviewed, and I think it's a great one. He says, any decision to spend capital is a decision to work longer to pay for that decision. He says decision, but I think it's great. Let's go over it again. Any decision to spend capital is a decision to work longer to pay for that decision. Isn't that true? Well, what can a mid-career dentist do to help out? Most of us can't save 25% per year or haven't been able to. What can we do? What kind of corrections can we make that may be easy for us? Okay, the biggest one by far is not to buy the large home after that initial practice loan is paid off. A lot of times practice loans are $6,000 a month now. All of a sudden, 10 years out, honey, we've got $6,000 extra per month. Rather than buy that large home, which most of us do, put it into savings. Pay cash for toys. This includes boats, RVs, Cerax, cone beams, anything that's a toy. And we're calling neat practice things, lasers or whatever, toys, but anything that's a piece of equipment that you really want, pay cash for it. With your home, homes can be money pits, especially large homes. Stage upgrades. Don't pay more on average than 2% of your home value per year for upgrades. Now, for a $500,000 home, that's $10,000. If you pay $20,000 for a new bathroom 1 year, wait a couple years to buy anything else. Also, after that initial practice loan, don't take out another one. Pay with cash, have a cash fund in your practice. And finally, involve your spouse with major financial decisions. In fact, have them in on what budget items are important to you. Go over that a couple times a year. Thanks so much for listening.